So one of the things that we've talked quite a bit about is how Trump is basically retooling the U.S. government and putting the most manpower on the issue of deportations, right? So like if you're in some agency that goes after human traffickers, or you're in some agency that goes after cartels, or you're in some agency that goes after the most violent criminals, what they do is they dismantle those agencies and say, now just pick up a gun and go to the local Home Depot and round up the day laborers. And this has happened time and time again. It's actually very disturbing. Over $100 billion has been allocated to ICE. It's now bigger than most militaries. You know, it's bigger than the Israeli military budget. And this is like a domestic police force that doesn't abide by the rules and regulations and due process. And so guess what? I got another update for you here. So Aaron Reichlin Melnick says the following. Reports uncover that almost every agent in the FBI's Baltimore domestic terrorism squad was ordered to drop their normal work and go out and arrest random migrants. Investigations into pedophiles preying on children were tossed aside and now only proceed at a snail's pace. So now, domestic terrorism unit dismantled, anti-pedo unit dismantled. FBI agents reassigned to round up immigrants have had to walk away from investigations into violent predators who target and exploit children online, MSNBC has learned. The impacts have been significant. Nearly every agent on Baltimore's domestic terrorism squad was reassigned this year to work full-time on immigration enforcement, forcing them to walk away from investigations of a network of violent predators that target and exploits children online. So in other words, they knew this ring exists. They were working on bringing down this ring, and they were reassigned to go after more immigrants who did nothing wrong. These are not criminals. These are not gangsters. These are not the worst of the worst. These are, just like Stephen Miller berated ICE agents for in that meeting, that famous meeting, these are people who are just day laborers that were at the Home Depot or they're at the 7-Eleven. Go after those people, he said. They're literally running cover for pedophile rings. Literally. Which I guess should come as no surprise since Donald Trump was Epstein's best friend. I guess that should come as no surprise that the guy who was Epstein's best friend for a decade was on Epstein's plane 7 times that we know of. The guy who knew the inner workings of the Trump White House, the guy who shared a girlfriend with Epstein, the guy who sent Epstein a fucking love letter on his 50th birthday, that guy is running cover for pedophiles and dismantling the anti-pedophile agencies. Jesus Christ, man. Jesus Christ. So these are the sort of horror stories that we get now. Basically, everything else has been put on hold, right? Everything else has been put on hold. And now it's just, hey, go after the legal immigrants, the ones with the green cards, the ones with the visas, the one who's been here. They might be here in an undocumented fashion, but they've been working for 2 decades and they pay their taxes and they look after their family and they've never committed a crime. The worst they've ever had is a fucking parking ticket. They go round them up and get them out of here. Now, more horror stories. Kristi Noem personally joined ICE in Chicago for a raid, but they arrested a U.S. citizen by mistake. Actually, I think it was multiple U.S. citizens. Watch this. Here we go.
I spoke to that contractor over there. He was called by the homeowner to repair the damage. He says both the front door and back door are busted in. Now, Secretary Kristi Noem sent out a tweet that reads in part, "I was on the ground in Chicago today to make it clear we are not backing down." That post on X also included video showing several people being led away in handcuffs. We have witness video that was taken after a person describes hearing an explosion around 5:50 this morning. You can see armed officers shining flashlights at a door and into a window as well. Another neighbor told us about the response from law enforcement that came from the air.
Awakened at 20 to 6 by the drone of the helicopter flying overhead, circling the house, circling the neighborhood, spotlight on, right over the house. Very unusual in our usually quiet neighborhood.
Back out here live, people in the neighborhood are slowly filtering over here to see this damage. Everyone walking up to us wants to know what the people were taken into custody for. Well, according to Secretary Noem, she indicated on social media their offenses include DUI, felony stalking, and assault. We know that members of a rapid response team are walking around the neighborhood trying to be on standby in case there are any more ICE arrests. I also wanted to tell you that Representative Lauren Underwood from the Northwest suburbs says she got debriefed by ICE recently, who told her that since September 6th, there have been 250 ICE arrests in the Chicago area. I'm Laura Victory reporting live in Elgin this morning, CBS News Chicago.
They were U.S. citizens. They blew off their doors and they were U.S. citizens. How about this one? So this guy, Van Nuys car wash owner, owner raided by ICE, speaks out. Listen to this. This guy's 80 years old. Listen to what happened to him.
You can see my arm. They throw me in the footage, all bring black.
Rafi's shoe head shows us the injuries he sustained, including a dislocated elbow, after his business was raided by federal immigration officials last week. Surveillance video shows as the 80-year-old car wash owner gets shoved to the ground by a masked agent as he's running down a narrow hallway. Rafi says he didn't know what was going on, and when he came to the defense of one of his employees outside Valley Car Wash in Van Nuys, an unidentified officer pushes him back before throwing him to the ground as backup arrives.
They grabbed one of my guys, and I told him, hold on, most of these people, they have a paper, we have documentation here, and the only thing they said is, you don't F with the eyes, we are here. And they threw me on the floor, and 3 of them, they jumped on me and they were sitting on me.
Rafi says 5 of his employees were detained by ICE that Tuesday morning. He requested medical attention after being roughed up with a heart condition, but instead he was placed in handcuffs and taken to the Metropolitan Detention Center in downtown LA.
I was asking them, let me talk to somebody, I need to go home, I need my medicine. I'm hungry. No, there is nothing we can do. You have to wait. You have to wait.
The U.S. citizen was released hours later. That's when his family finally took him to the hospital.
Again, my dad, he's 80 years old, and he has a heart condition, and he begged and pleaded, and told him, as soon as that second attack, that second push down, he said, I have a heart condition, I'm an old man, I want the ambulance, and they completely denied him and ignored him.
Rafi's ribs were left busted, both his arms have contusions, and he's struggling to breathe.
Jesus Christ. This is what happens when you deputize a bunch of white nationalists, a bunch of Proud Boys, and you say, hey, here's a badge, you guys are in control now. And they run wild. They run wild. They could have carte blanche. Do whatever you want to whoever you want to do it to. That's why as they were arresting people in D.C., remember that video where the guy says, somebody says to them, you're ruining this country. And the guy says back, liberals have already ruined this country. This is who these people are. These are hardcore partisans. They're standing around with their fucking machine guns, wearing face coverings. This is in the middle of the day in a fucking, like residential area, in like a business area. Like, what do you think's going to happen? What do you think fucking Al-Qaeda is going to come from behind the bridge? Like, what are you talking about? It's ridiculous. And this is what they do. Hyper-militarized, hyper-aggressive, don't care about due process, don't care about habeas corpus, don't even care. How many stories have we heard of people saying to these guys, hey, they're legal. Here's the evidence. Here are the papers. This guy said to them, we have papers here. Everybody here is legal. They didn't give a fuck. They didn't care. So this has nothing to do with law and order. This has nothing to do with immigration. This has to do with masked thugs, Trump's Gestapo, running wild and ruining people's lives on a whim because they've been given carte blanche to do whatever the fuck they want, whenever the fuck they want to do it. And these, I'm only giving you 2 stories here, bro. I can give you way more than this. But now you know, this is what people are reassigned to do. Don't go after the cartels. Don't go after the gangsters. Don't go after the pedo rings. Don't go after the domestic terrorists. Put all that aside. Whatever happens, happens on that front. But go to the local fucking car wash with the 80-year-old, assault the 80-year-old, and then arrest his workers who happen to have papers. It's a sick joke. This is a sick joke. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.